Well, cheers for speaking to us today, Phil. And the award, the Ribeline of Manannan this year, well deserved. The thing I always associate with you is sort of being a bit ahead of his game using technology in the language, really, because you were probably the first person to see the internet as a means to use and promote the language.
Yes, well, I think that's probably right, because at the time I don't think anyone else was doing it. But of course, at that time, my internet site is quite primitive compared to the
everyone's.
Well, yes, it was. You look at Culture Vanna's slick professional site. Very different, but with the same object.
Oh
basically.
yeah. No, it was definitely. Well, it was ahead of its time. It's things have changed so quickly just in that time span. But you go a bit further back to the days of Dúla Carragher, Dougie Farragher, and helping him put together his dictionary, really. What are your memories of that?
Yes, well, it's a very minor part in the dictionary. It was Dougie actually, when he looked up his words, or the words that he wanted, he would then type them out on a typewriter, on index cards, every one, and then there was a need for those cards to be put into the alphabetical order. So that was part of my job at the time.
How long did it take him to do it?
I believe it took him 25 years. I think he actually started off doing a Manx English dictionary, and then he decided the more useful way round at the time would be an English Manx dictionary.
Yeah, and it's a shame, you've seen the transition in the language, really, because I think you were saying before when speaking of Manx that, when you started learning, it's difficult to find out anything in a way. It's almost you didn't realise that people still speak in the language, to a position today where, the language is very visible and really used, and lots of people using and supporting it.
Yeah, that's true. That my first step for the language was actually the Manx Museum, which I hope now is not the first step for anybody, because people are aware of Manx speakers all around the Isle of Man.
Yeah, so that's been a remarkable change, and I suppose it's a shame that people like Dougie Farragher and Lewis Krell and those others who you learned aren't around to see that remarkable change, really.
No, that's right. I think they were really the torchbearers of Manx in its darkest days. So how far they looked ahead, I'm not quite sure. I think back to some of the things written, that's Manx being an iceberg floating in southern latitudes. I don't think that was their opinion, but they would have no conception of how far Manx has come.
Yeah, but are you amazed by how far it's come?
I'm totally amazed. The Bunskull, I thought may possibly happen in another 20 years. And there it is. It just appeared overnight, I think.
Yeah. Well, cheers for your... loads of people played their different role, haven't they, really, in that revival, And
yes. Yes. I think there was the people who kept the spoken language alive, and I think I did a little bit about promulgating the printed material, perhaps.
Well, no, some of the stuff you've done and your interest in place names and the, publication of, all the stuff Dougie Farragher did and the online stuff has been brilliant, really. And I'd say, the thing, I suppose, from my point of view, being you sort of ahead of the game, really. I thought that was really...
Well, for a little time. I think the game is now considerably moved on.
Well, I know. It moves daily. Yes. It's difficult to be up with the game, but Jinta Vai won you, and good am I son Lotrum as Gaw Sola Jay and Ounder.
Well, yeah, good am I more.
Good am I.